Tonight on Dice to Pixels, we're going to be doing our game awards, such as they are. Stick with us and we'll check them out. All right. Thanks, Chad, for that wonderful welcome.
Let me put my horn away.
Put your pants back.
So,
Sorry.
So we are not doing traditional game awards. We've got a couple actual awards that we'll hand out. But really what we're doing is we're just talking about stuff that we played, favorites, least favorites. We've got a couple of categories that we'll group stuff into.
Yep.
But we haven't come up with like official ratings or categories for stuff yet.
Nope,
So
that's a hope for in the future.
someday down the line.
Yep.
Yeah. So with that said, should we keep people in suspense? Should we do the normal showmanship thing, or should we just come out with the game of the year right now?
Man, I feel like, I don't know. Fuck.
Let-
Do we
Let's
want
just,
to?
you know what? You know what we should do? Let's put it in the middle.
Okay.
Just be
All right.
contrarian to everyone else.
All right. Fair enough.
Hmm.
Yeah. So actually, let's talk first. So backlist game, you've got Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
2770.
Yeah.
27 2077
That one that came
6.
out like last year.
Yes.
That-
2 years ago.
Whenever. It
Yeah.
came out, it wasn't good unless you had like a top of the line PC.
Yeah,
the
and even then, it was a little weak in some spots.
buggy as hell and just a lot of bad press. But their 2.0 release and the next gen console versions came out, and I bought it for Xbox Series X, and it's great. Like, it's smooth, it's seamless. Playing it, the way you can go about certain objectives and stuff, you have a lot of choice. You can be sneaky, or you can go in guns blazing. It's a lot of risk and reward stuff, and it's really good. I'm glad I waited to actually get into it. So
Yeah, and obviously the update being a major improvement is not a unique or controversial take, but it is very true. I mean, they made the game so much better with
Yep.
that update.
yeah,
So-
and the DLC
And the
came.
DLC,
The DLC just came out for it, and there's still I think the 2.1 release just came out.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I haven't been tracking it.
ironically enough, I'm not done it yet, because a lot of the other stuff that came out in 2023 is, has taken up that time. So Cyberpunk's one of those games where it's gonna be like my time filler. If I have nothing else to play, I'm just gonna keep on playing that. But it's good. I like it so far.
Yeah, I admit I've actually several of the games that I'm gonna sort of be putting forward are backlist games. They're what I played this year. I realized that a lot of what I've played this year are not new. I've leaned heavily into games from a year, 2 years,
Mhm.
sometimes more ago. So, which honestly, why not? They're cheaper.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So I for backlist game, I said either Wingspan or Frosthaven. We'll get into it a little bit later, but Frosthaven is like my tabletop of the year, even though it's not really this year.
Mhm.
But Wingspan, I've been playing a shit ton of Wingspan.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's still on sale.
Yeah,
Still
if-
on
yeah.
sale,
On
yeah.
Steam, the digital
Well, on
version.
everything.
Well, yeah, okay, sorry. So the digital version is on
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you can literally get Wingspan and like all of the expansions for $40 Canadian.
Yeah. So and to be clear, I have played the physical copy a bunch, but most of what I've been playing is the digital version, and it's a solid take on the, like, they did a really good job on it. So
Yep.
so yeah, if you're into Wingspan at all and haven't got the digital version, I recommend it. It's got all of the things that you would want: online play, AI, all that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And it has the Autonoma deck, so that you can play, because the physical version has the Autonoma deck, or whatever it is, that allows you to play with an
single player.
AI.
Yeah.
They also have that in the digital version, but they also have like, not that, they have AI players as well as that deck.
Oh,
So you can do whatever
that's a
you
good
want.
idea.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
that's cool.
They did a great job. It's a very solid adaptation.
Cool. Yeah, and my backlist game of the year was Outer Wilds.
The Outer Worlds.
Outer Worlds, not Wilds. I haven't played Outer Wilds yet. God, they came so close together that I always get them screwed up. But yeah, the Outer Worlds. I started it, I think, when it first came out, and then ended up bouncing for no
Yeah.
reason really. But then I picked it up again this year, and Yeah, it's a fun game. I think it's kind of like my equivalent of your Cyberpunk, where I'm gonna I haven't finished it yet, but I'm gonna dip back in and out of it.
Yeah, the Spacer's Choice Edition came out for next gen consoles, so we picked that up. And ironically enough, there was something else that came out, or I think it was Starfield, because we were comparing how the Outer Wilds. See, now you got me fucking.
Sorry, I'm
yeah,
sorry.
timeline was. I think that's right.
Yeah, because I was playing it just before Starfield came out.
Yeah,
so. But yeah, no, between the two, I definitely enjoy the story and the gameplay of Outer Worlds a lot more.
Yeah.
Yeah, Starfield is a game that I don't think any of us put down for any category because it was just it's fine.
Yeah. Well, there's that one category that we have briefly discussed further down the list, but we'll we got time. We'll talk about that.
But Starfield was good, but that's all it was. It was just good.
Yeah.
It wasn't anything special. So
let's, seeing as this next category here is pretty much unanimous for all of us. Biggest letdown of 2023.
What could it be?
Well, I mean,
not Starfield.
No, definitely not Starfield.
No, it wasn't a letdown.
No.
It was just meh.
I'd say, actually, I'm not even going to get into it, but biggest letdown unanimously was Diablo 4 for all of us.
Yeah,
easy.
A lot of the pre-release hype for it looked somewhat promising, but I remember when we were sitting up there watching some of these trailers, and all of us were just like,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, I made that video talking about the pieces of it that weren't as good as Diablo 3. I had an inkling that it wasn't going to be that good a game, and I made no bones about it. You can go back and look at previous episodes if you feel like confirming this, but I said going into it that I didn't think it was going to be that good a game, but that I'd still play the shit out of it. The problem is they made the game so long, they made the story part of the game so long that I only barely ever got 118 hours in the game, and I only just sort of dipped my toe into the end game. That's fucking ridiculous.
I didn't even get there. I only just barely started Act 2 before I dipped. So.
Yeah, same with Danielle. I think she did sort of get into the mid-end game, the not the end game, but the first cap dungeon I dragged her through. But I still don't think Diablo 4 is bad. Someday I'm gonna go back to it and finish, get through, slog my way to 100 so that I can actually play the fucking game. But way too long to get to the game.
It's one of those games where even a lot of my friends and stuff that all play Diablo 4, there wasn't a single one that I spoke to that said they played any of the DLC or any of the seasonal content. Because the seasonal stuff is stupid. They were just so fed up with just the grind and the fact that Blizzard actively made it fucking difficult for people to level up too.
Yeah.
It just floors my mind when people develop builds for characters and for classes and then they get nerfed because it becomes a meta. And then, nerfing XP and all this shit.
It's not fun. You actively are making your game not fun. You're making people not want to play it, which is truly bizarre.
Blizzard managed to somehow lose all of the people that understood what a Diablo game is. And Diablo 4 is, I think eventually it is. I've watched some streams of people who slogged through and got to the end, and it looks like Diablo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm probably still 60 hours of gameplay out, at least the way I play. And that's a big commitment. Maybe I'll find time between now and New Year's. I don't know. But I just don't have any real motivation. In the time that it would take for me to get from 60 or whatever to 100, I could go through the Diablo 3 story and get to 70 or whatever it is 3 times.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And the way that you play too, you just barrel your way through stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas even players that don't take their time, they just play it at a steady rate, that's still so much game time.
It's so
much.
Yeah, I'm not the power leveler. There are people that apparently burned through the entirety to 100 in somehow 70 hours or something.
I don't understand.
I legitimately don't know how they did that, but whatever. I don't play that fast, but I also don't waste any time with the story. And in a game like Diablo 4, and most games, if I'm honest, I didn't bother with any of the story as we know. I just beelined it for the end game, and even then 118 hours in and I'm not there. Now I did start a different character and then change my mind, but that was only that only accounts for like 15 hours of the gameplay, I think. So
yeah, very, very sad.
Yeah,
very sad.
hopefully they do pick up their butts and make it a much better game in the next year too, because it would be nice to dip back into it.
By this time next year we'll be like, oh yeah, Diablo 4 is a fun game to pick up and play.
Well, I mean, it took Diablo 3 like what, 6 years?
Yeah, it was pretty rough for the first year and a half, and then it started getting good, and by now it's like really, really good.
Yeah.
So.
Yippers. All right. Well, I honestly, surprise hits probably.
Yeah, we can talk about some surprise hits. So the last two have been pretty clear. There's backlist is stuff from previous years that we really liked, and biggest letdown should be self-explanatory. But surprise hit,
the game
these are just games that we picked up that we didn't know about.
Yeah, or we kind of knew about but didn't realize how. We
found out about them close to release, or they were stealth drops, or we had heard in passing, but we didn't. These aren't to say that these were a surprise to everybody or anything like that, but these were a surprise to us. Either they were way better than we thought they were, or they just came out of nowhere. So mine is Mob Factory. I agree with your pick too, but Mob Factory was mine. It's a different sort of game. It's like a cross between Factorio and, well, very vaguely like Factorio and Tower Defense. And I haven't checked out the latest updates for it, but it was a cool game. I've played it a little bit. I'm going to play it some more. It'll be a returning game for me. And brand new developer. I think it's their first game, and
they're probably going to comment down on the bottom because we've mentioned Bomb Factory again.
hey, if you happen to watch, welcome. The developer on it commented on the video where I first mentioned it. It's a solid game. And if you haven't checked it out, if you're into tower defense and sort of like Factorio-ish stuff, give it a look because it might be up your alley.
For me, it was Moonring. I had heard about it someplace else. I don't even remember at this point. And like the description of it, something I figured Adrian would like.
And I did.
Yes. And then I just downloaded it to be like, I wonder what it is actually about. And I'm like, oh God, this is a fun game. So like it's so simple looking. The gameplay loop is pretty simple too. Like you use like 4 buttons. And it was just really fun to look at because of the simple art style, but it's like neon art style.
It's very reminiscent of like the old Commodore 64 kind of color. How they had that neon, like that teal and that magenta.
It's sort of like insanely vivid ASCII art.
It's fantastic, and like it was made by it was just made by one guy just because he wanted to. And it's kind of like a love project, like side project. Like he has like merch coming out for it now at this point. And I haven't checked out any updates on it lately, but he had said that he wants to like make it work better on Steam Deck. So it's just like a little labor of love that he's picking away at.
I think that's probably when I'll pick it back up because I kind of bounced off of it just because it was, it's a very cool game and I really like the thought of it and everything else, but I had other things that were ongoing, and when I sit down at the gaming PC, I tend to play heavier games. But once he gets it running better on the Steam Deck, that'll be.
I really like that it's easy enough to play on my laptop because my laptop is not great by any means, and it runs so good on here. So you could probably play it on a potato, to be honest.
I really like that it's free.
That too, and it's going to stay free forever. So
that's cool. I agree. Cool. I agree with both of your selections. I have a lot on my list here, but I think
which one of the 5 are you actually picking?
Well, so I do agree with Moonring, but honestly, Cocoon was the one that surprised me the most. When I remember seeing gameplay for that initially, and it reminded me visually of Death's Door, but a more bright, vibrant kind of world. But getting into the game, it's a straight up puzzle platformer that utilizes these globes that are basically self-contained worlds that you can kind of shift in and out of and all that. and it's really fun. It's on Game Pass. Definitely recommend checking that out. But I do agree with Moonring and Mob Factory as well.
Yeah.
I think Moonring's one of those, that's like our Vampire Survivors where it's like, holy shit, like this came out of nowhere and it's really good.
Yeah, like it's very, very cool. And once it's on Steam Deck, I think I will play the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's do Game of the Year.
Game of the Year.
I think we're half. Well, we're not.
We're not, but we'll call it halfway.
So this is unanimous, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I am more than happy to take this one.
I bet you can't guess what it is.
Yeah. So this was unanimous out of everything we played this year. Our Dice to Pixels Game of the Year is Sea of Stars.
Yeah.
The folks there at Sabotage Studios, they put together an absolutely amazing game that to me it's one of those games where you're sitting there playing it and all of the, like when you used to play a game in front of a Nintendo or a Super Nintendo and just the feels that you got, like that old school, like, God damn, this is so good. And the music's fantastic. The gameplay was awesome. They took a lot of tropes from the Super Mario RPG with hitting the button when the attack hits or hitting the button to take less damage or whatever. The characters are great. Like you have 6 party members and all of them are great. They're unique characters. Yep. The story is really good. It ties into probably one of my most favorite games ever, The Messenger. So much so that, and you remember this, and I've talked about this before, I geeked the fuck out when you visit the island that The Messenger is based on. Mm-hmm. It's a beautiful game. Graphically, it's amazing. And it just hits all the right elements. Like, it's not one of those games where you're like, oh, for fuck's sake, this is such a chore to play. No, it is great to play.
Yeah, and so from my perspective, like we know Chad like absolutely fucking loves Sea of Star, and I loved it too. Like I really enjoyed it, but for me, it wasn't necessarily the game that I enjoyed most this year. But it had difficulty. You could choose to play it as a difficult game or not, but like there were times where I actually failed in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Because too many games are, you can't fail.
Yeah.
I didn't encounter any bugs.
Nope.
When I played it. It was released as a finished product that worked. Mm-hmm. And to your point, like I didn't even experience any graphical glitches.
No.
Like they did a great job. The graphics were great. The in-game game is fun, super cool.
Yeah.
Just incredibly well polished. And it delivered exactly what it said it would, which is pretty rare these days. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So that's a big part of why I give it the top marks.
Yep.
Is like it was fun. I liked it. I'm still gonna play more of it. But it was just holy shit! Finally, a game that like is what it says it is. Yeah. There's no rug pulls. There's no bullshit. There's no waiting for updates. There's no. It just here's a game. Enjoy.
Yep.
And I did.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I haven't actually started playing it yet, but for the amount that I've watched Chad play it, and I've listened to it, and like the sound, like I can speak the most on the soundtrack because it's just been playing in the house constantly. And
three platforms. I beat it on PlayStation, Xbox, and Steam. So
yeah, and like it is a visually very pretty game. It's got great soundtrack backing it up, and it's I'm intending on playing it.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to it a lot too. Like yeah.
Now with that said, what was your favorite game of the year outside of Sea of Stars? Because I know you didn't put any real time into Sea of Stars. My guess was it was Alan Wake, but I wasn't sure about that.
Yeah, I guess between Alan Wake and for coming out this year, probably Alan Wake or Moonring. More likely Alan Wake because the story just kept me entranced. And
which, in fairness, also ticks some of the same boxes. Like it was a complete game. It didn't have issues. Like
it has issues.
Oh, it does.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I hadn't heard about the issues. Maybe people were just kind of too enraptured.
I didn't know about them, so so I just was like, whatever. I'll just keep going. But
I ran into them.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
I probably ran into them too. I just didn't realize I was running into them.
There's a couple spots near the start of the game where you find 2 stashes and it has an inventory upgrade in the stash, but you can't pick it up.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Fun,
Whereas
fun.
I just play the entire game with a single inventory upgrade when I think there was still 4 more to get. And I was just like, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, so. Gotcha.
But yeah, like
it pretty much hands down, like it hits all the boxes. Yep. It is what it says it is. It's a game that delivers exactly on its promises. Yep. And, no bugs, great soundtrack, great visuals. Sea of Stars is pretty much a no-brainer for the year.
And Adrian's going to be making up
I'm making up a special award for them. I haven't finished it yet, or else I'd show it here. Next episode, I should have it done, and I'll show it off and then put it in the mail. We're going to send it to them, and they can keep it or burn it or whatever they want to do with it.
But in any event, like I tweeted out yesterday, thanks to them for the work they put into this game.
Yeah.
And I'll do it again. Thank you very much. You're our game of the year, Dice to Pixels Game of the Year 2023.
Yeah, they nailed it. They absolutely fucking nailed it.
All right.
So we might as well say best soundtrack. Yeah. You said Alan Wake 2 maybe?
Yeah. I was looking at them again and I'm like, Alan Wake 2, I think, because all of the music, like in between each chapter, because everything is broken down into chapters, and flipping between playing Alan Wake and playing why is my brain just Saga. Between each chapter there is a song in there, and if you actually pay attention and listen to the lyrics, even if you didn't look it up, you come to realize, this song was made specifically for this game.
Oh, cool.
And it sounds like it should be just a regular, like anyone, like they just bought the rights to this, but everything for it is tailor-made for the game itself. It's got the fucking musical level that we were treated to at the Game Awards.
Yeah.
And it's just there's 2 old men in there. They were the lead members for a metal band in like the 80s or whatever. They have all of their music spread out throughout the thing. It's all great stuff. It's just it's really well put together.
The musical breaks between chapters remind me basically of like an end credit music for like a TV episode.
Yeah,
sure.
But they're really good songs too. Like I'm probably about halfway through the game right now myself. But I agree.
Yeah, it's a soundtrack. Most video game soundtracks, if I'm going to listen to them, I add them to my one of my reading playlists. This is one where I've listened to the soundtrack just because the music is enjoyable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's kind of like, I'm going to say mine's a tie. I'm not going to include the third one, but obviously Sea of Stars, that music is just because it's that classic retro style music.
Yeah.
It sticks in your head, right?
Yeah.
So I'm fucking constantly hearing it in my head. But Hi-Fi Rush had an amazing soundtrack too, because part of its appeal was it was a combat / rhythm-based game.
Yeah.
And the music for that, they had like remixes of some 9 Inch Nails songs in there, and it was really, really, really good. So I'm giving it a tie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sea of Stars, Hi-Fi Rush for me.
Fair enough. I'm not that big a soundtrack junkie, so for me, the soundtrack is the game that I'm least tempted to turn the audio down on.
Yeah.
And for that, it's KSP2, Kerbal Space Program, for anyone who doesn't know. It's just a very, it's nothing special. It's just lo-fi music, but it fits the space theme so well. And I don't find myself needing to turn it down. Sea of Stars was good, but I still ended up sort of turning it down. KSP, I'm just kind of like, I'll leave that on in the background.
It's good vibing music.
Good. One of the things in Sea of Stars that I really dug is the music changed if you were in day or night.
Oh yeah, no, they did a wonderful job.
Yeah. I just thought of that now.
Yeah.
I'm old. God damn it. Fuck sakes.
Yeah. Sea of Stars was awesome. Like, it was the better soundtrack of the games that I played, for sure. But for me, I'm like the guy who turns down like all of the audio on most games that I play, and I don't find myself doing that with Kerbal. So Kerbal 1 or 2. I think it's honestly, I think it's probably the same band that the same producer or whatever that does the music for both. So very similar, but
cool. Yeah. Best art.
Sarah and I think both are.
I'm just gonna pop into, because Sea of Stars is getting a lot of these awards, but I do agree. Moonring had a very unique art style.
Yeah.
And to me, it stands out more than the choices that I had there.
Yeah, because we do get a lot of like pixel art style games now. It is vastly popular for nostalgia purposes, but this is just going even further back into like you were saying,
and
just
the responsiveness of it and everything else. Like it felt different.
Yes. Yeah.
It felt like ASCII art, but different.
Different. Yeah.
And for me, that's a no-brainer. It's just it didn't feel like anything else I've played.
Yeah.
It felt different.
Yeah.
And amazing.
Oh yeah.
So
big time.
That one's pretty easy.
Yes.
Best gameplay. I don't even. You can talk about yours, Chad.
Well, okay. So yeah, you're probably thinking you're probably thinking Sea of the Stars is going to sweep everything. Well, no, I put it in this, but there was one game that came out this year that I think had the best gameplay, in my opinion, and it was the Metroid Prime Remaster.
Yeah.
Mainly because they fucking updated it and gave it that twin stick control like most first person shooters. And they had the motion controls that you could use with the Switch Joy-Cons. But adding twin stick controls, like the actual first person controls to Metroid Prime, holy shit, did it fucking improve it. Because on the old GameCube version, in order to look around, you had to hold like the right trigger button and then move like the left analog stick. And that's how you would look around. And if it wasn't for the lock-on feature, so like if there was something above you, you would hold the right trigger, look up at it, hold the left trigger to lock onto it, and then you could let go and just fire, right? And you would track the thing until it disappeared.
Very cumbersome.
It totally was. And then if you lost the lock, your Samus would just go and look straight again.
Yeah, that sounds horrible.
It was very hard to get used to, but the gameplay in the remaster, and by the way, Nintendo, I am going to give you a little shout out here, because not only did you nail it out of the park with this Metroid Prime remaster, but you also nailed it out of the park with the Super Mario RPG remaster.
Yeah, well, and honestly, Super Mario Wonder was a pretty cool game too.
That was a great one too. But
it's
when it comes to the remaster kind of shit.
Yeah. Well, it's not a remaster, but Super Mario Wonder kind of feels like a proper Mario game.
Yep. So, but yeah, Metroid Prime remaster. That's my gameplay.
Yeah. I originally threw in Moonring here. Honestly, I can't think of a game, like there wasn't a game this year that I was like, oh, that is clearly superior gameplay.
Yeah, I had that struggle a little bit. I put in Dave the Diver, mostly because I just like the gameplay loop of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great game.
I mean, I've enjoyed lots of games, but I can't think of any games that I was like, oh, this feels different.
Mm-hmm.
Orc Massage.
That was last year.
Orc Massage, obviously, but yeah, that was last year. Yeah, I don't know. I tried to thinking about it a little bit earlier today again, and I'm just like, I've liked a handful of games for different reasons, but none of them have really stood out as like, oh my god.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have the Kerbal Space Program this year. Like I didn't have that sort of like, holy shit, this is my game. I didn't have that this year.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
With that said, the game I played most this year was apparently it was Starfield. So
yeah, well, you did 2 run-throughs of
more than that, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't feel like the gameplay loop was like, it was just Skyrim.
Yeah,
there was nothing special about it, and the space combat was kind of clunky, impossible on console, kind of clunky on computer. So like, it wasn't the best gameplay. It's the one that I played the most, but not really. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Best tabletop. Best tabletop game or
card game.
So you guys picked a card. This is just a playing card game.
Well, no, just
let's start with yours.
Yeah, you start with yours. You go first because you actually played some board games.
Yeah, well, so the two that stood out for me this year, neither one of them are new this year, but Frosthaven is it completely stole my heart. I've been playing it with my brother and his wife. Loving every minute of it. It's better than Gloomhaven in basically every way, and it's just it takes most of the issues that we had with Gloomhaven, where it's like the setup and everything makes you kind of, why am I not just playing D&D?
Yeah.
Frosthaven really gets away from well, not all, but a lot of that, especially when you're using the app and everything else. Just phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
To be clear, my tabletop of the year every year is D&D. So like, but everything comes with an asterisk. And then Wingspan was the other game that I've played a bunch of, and really, really liked. And then there's a handful of other games that I was pretty happy with that Taco Bell game for a stupid fucking little.
Oh my God, $6 game,
like a pre-party game.
Yeah.
Like that was great.
That was ridiculously fun.
Yeah.
And then we played Arch Rivals.
Yeah,
Arch Rivals was pretty good.
We played Arch Rivals. That was a game that we had seen at PAX Unplugged back in 2021 in Philadelphia. Sarah being the knitting master. We got her.
Witch.
Well, yeah, or sure that, yeah. She seen that, and we bought we bought the deluxe edition. It came with like these cute little wooden knitting bowls, which are really good.
Well, they look like actual yarn bowls.
Yeah, and they make excellent horse clop sounds. You know,
they do. They really do. Yeah, right up there with coconuts.
Yeah, but that was a fun game because I think I ended up naming my character Optimus Prime.
Something like that. Yeah,
I think so. Yep.
Oh yeah, because you played that character.
Yeah. That was a fun game.
Yeah.
What else did we play?
Well, so I played a game. It's from 2017. I just checked. It's called Ravine. It's a little tiny bit like Galapagos, which we played.
Mm-hmm.
Your plane went down. You're trying to survive on an island until you get rescued. And super fun. Takes 15-20 minutes to play, and really solid mechanics. Pretty hard. Like it's sort of like Pandemic on the higher difficulties hard, where I'm like, I think you'd lose most of the time if you played it on the hard difficulties, but like that's okay. And just a little card game that you could take with you. So
nice.
That was fun.
Yeah. Speaking of card games you can take with you.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, I actually want to hear more about.
Yeah, we need to bring it and teach you guys how to play it. So this was a game that we learned how to play at my parents' place because they play a lot of card games with friends. They're not like huge board game players, but I imagine if we attempted to, we probably could get them to play board games. But the game that we learned was they call Ratchet.
Yep.
And it's 13 hands more or less to each game, something like that.
13 hands.
Yeah, and you're playing like mini games of various other card games, building up. Or do you want a high score or low score? Now I can't remember.
You want a low score.
Yeah,
like one of the rounds. So your first 6 rounds, it's random, right? Like you just do it at random. One of them is basically like hearts or asshole. Mm-hmm. There's another one where you get the most hands, and playing a hand is just like euchre. You lead with a suit, and everybody has to play that suit, and whoever has the highest of that suit takes it. Right?
So takes the tricks. Yeah.
So it's one of them's all suits. One of them is getting no tricks. One of them is if you get no queens. Mm-hmm. So if you have a queen in your hand, it's like I think 20 points. But if you have all four, if you get all 4, then everybody loses points or whatever.
Yeah.
And then it all culminates in what they call the ratchet round, which is basically 7s, except you're playing with 8s. You start with an 8s, right? So whoever has an 8, they lay down an 8, and then if it's the 8 of clubs, well, you can add the 9 of clubs or the 7 of clubs, and you keep going until the first 2 players that are out, they get like the first player out gets 50 points taken from their score, and the second place gets like 30 points taken from their score, and then you do it all again
in reverse order.
Oh yeah. And it culminates in another ratchet round, and then that's what it sounds long, but it's not. It's fast. It's a fast game.
Yeah, because all of the rounds are short, and like you get more people. Actually, I don't think the time difference really makes much of a difference with the number.
5.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. But it's a great game just to like, you bring a deck of cards with you, and it's a fun thing to do. So
deck of cards, man, it's still the best fucking game to have with you.
I honestly think we should do a whole series of just like deck of card card game videos or whatever, because I feel like I never see anything like that on YouTube. It's always like board game plays.
I'm sure they exist and they just get buried by the algorithm. But we should do a...
If you're interested, let us know, because yeah.
Also, if you're a lizard person, let us know. I've been trying to find one. No reason.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unrelated, but
yep.
I'm gonna get you, Spider-Man.
If you like card games or are a lizard person, let us know.
Word.
And especially if you like both.
Yeah, for sure. That would be especially interesting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that pretty much covers tabletop. I mean, I've played other tabletop games throughout the year.
But those ones stick out the most.
Those are the.
I mean, I know we.
Yeah,
I know we played like Ticket to Ride this year, and we played. Tokyo. What was that?
King of Tokyo.
King of Tokyo, and
I've played lots of board games this year.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of them are, I've played them before. And,
yeah.
Jeffrey's Rooftop Puddle Party.
Damn right. Yep. Next year, though, I want to get back to playing more Dungeons and Dragons, like tabletop RPGs.
Yeah. Definitely.
Because I have not played enough of those.
D&D's dead now, though, right?
No, not until episode 59. 79.
Oh, right.
Which is what? 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
It is dead, though, right? It died, didn't it?
I don't know. We'll have to find out.
That's the first episode of the new year. That's great.
Right.
Yeah,
okay, I guess it was the first week of January. Yep.
That's great. Yeah.
We'll find out in 2 weeks.
So for the best casual, I listed my balls, and Chad also listed my balls.
Yes.
So there's that. I couldn't think of too many casual games, but for me, the Creeper Arc of Eternity, I liked it, and I think it counts as a casual.
I don't remember what this. I know you've probably told us, but I don't remember.
It's a little hard to describe. I'm sure there's a name for it. Somebody could tell me what it is, but it's sort of like a tower defense, except it's a tower offense. So there's this like gray goo that's like you wake up, hundreds of billions or trillions or whatever years in the future, and you're basically this creeper, this gray goo has repeatedly destroyed all sentient civilizations throughout the course of history, and you're like the last living sentient, and you're trying to defeat the creeper before it destroys the universe. And so it's very tower defensy, except that it's not really defensive. Some of the maps are defensive, but most of them are offensive. You're trying to destroy the creeper that's just flooding in constantly.
Oh, Jesus.
It's an interesting take. So yeah, I mean, check it out if you're into any tower defense sort of stuff. I don't even know when it was released. There's a new there's Creeper 4 and possibly even Creeper 5. I don't know. So it's not new, but Creeper 3, it was in my For You list or something, and it was like $3 or whatever. So I bought it and ended up quite enjoying it.
Yeah. Actually, mine is a little bit similar to that style with Warcraft Rumble.
Oh, I thought you were going to say my balls.
Every week there's something that just makes me want to quit.
Sorry.
No, you're not.
Tell us about Warcraft Rumble.
Yeah, that came out just around the Game Awards, and it's just basically you're like playing like little minis, and it's a little bit tower defensy, but it's also offensively where you're attacking like Hogger is sending out like little things, and it's definitely not super hard. Granted, I also haven't like dove headfirst totally into it. I imagine people do make it more difficult, and as you level up, it's probably a lot more difficult. But yeah, it's been a fun little phone game to play on every once in a while.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I might check it out.
Yeah, my casual is actually two of them: Retro Bowl Pro and Retro Bowl College. Neither one has the NFL or the NCAA's football rights, but you can tell who they are. It's just been like a fun. It reminds me a lot of Tecmo Bowl from the 80s.
Well, I was actually going to say, why don't you just play Tecmo Bowl? There's still like active communities for Tecmo Bowl.
Yeah, but this Retro Bowl is fun. This was really fun. It's on my phone, so I mean, like, it doesn't matter where I was or what I was doing. There's been many a nights where Sarah's been playing, Alan Wake or Power Wash Simulator, and I've just been laying there playing football.
Yeah.
You know,
because it's a little bit like fantasy football, but also you're playing too at the same time.
You're the coach.
Yeah.
And it's funny too, because like when you initially start, you can't pick whatever team you want, right? So I mean, I'm like a Green Bay Packer fan, and I had to start my career with like I think Carolina, and then eventually after I think my 8th or 9th Super Bowl, I finally got my Green Bay job. But it's fun. It's a lot of like cap management, hiring, re-signing coaches, players, that kind of shit, drafting and all that. The college one is similar, although I find the disciplining players because they're doing stupid shit between games always happens. Like, oh, so-and-so was out after lights out and blah, 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 and you got cut by the police. What are you going to do? And it's like, well, I'm going to discipline the player.
Yeah.
Because if I ignore it, it's going to bring down team morale.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's been really good. The gameplay's fun. You only ever play offense. You never play defense.
Right.
But yeah, they've been fun little games. So yeah.
Yeah, you've been playing the hell out of that.
I have been.
Fair enough.
So yeah, cool. That's our Dice to Pixels awards.
Well, there was one more. The one that we were...
Oh, the bugs?
Yeah, the game with the most bugs.
Most bugs, yeah. Yeah, the game that I played with the most bugs, I think, was Starfield.
Yeah, because our first reaction was Starfield.
I'm fairly confident that it was the buggiest game that I played.
Yeah.
Yeah. This year.
Yeah.
Other years there's been worse,
yeah.
But this year's Starfield.
Especially for a company that's so big too, the amount of bugs
it shouldn't have had bugs, or at least not that many. Yeah, like I remember, and not just innocuous bugs, like there was a lot of those, but like the next game plus where like you can't save at all.
Yeah.
It's like that's a pretty fucking egregious bug.
Yeah. I wonder if they fixed that.
I assume they fixed it by now.
I hope so. Oh, you never know.
No, I mean with them you never know.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, I think that's pretty much hands down Starfield.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yep.
I think for Chad though, the stuff that's been happening with Alan Wake 2 with the...
Yeah, but I mean that's just one bug.
You got pretty salty about it.
I was annoyed because I fucking hate it when you can see like a clear inventory upgrade, like an upgrade that you should be able to pick up and you can't.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things where I was like, well, fuck, like like inventory space in a game like Alan Wake where you need as many slots as you possibly can for various weapons or health, items and shit like that. Ammo, weapons, because fuck, like you start off with a pistol that takes up 1 slot, then you get a shotgun that takes up 2, and now I have a crossbow that takes up 3. So, and then the ammo only stacks for so much, right?
Yeah.
So to see that, like, and literally, like, there was, I think, 3 inventory upgrades in the first chapter alone, and you could only pick up 1.
Yeah.
Even though you could see the other 2 in the fucking box.
That's pretty
And
brutal.
see, the thing is, when I came across those, I just assumed they were just like supposed to be like decoration items or something in the box themselves. Just because like in other games that I've played, like you go into that sort of thing and it's just like there's a rock or a stick or something. So I just assumed it was like something that's just supposed to be there as just extra filler, not realizing it was probably, it was an item that would have been helpful. So I ended up like picking 2 weapons and that's all I carried around, and then I like was very careful with ammo and healing stuff and
I will just say, like, on the not necessarily a bug, but the shadow enemies in fucking Alan Wake 2, man, they are probably the most annoying fucking enemy that I have ever fucking fought against in a game.
Yeah, no one likes them.
They are so fucking annoying. Because
like you jump around or what's the deal?
Well, no, it's because like you have to like use your flashlight, and then it's this flashlight burst or something that uses like your battery power, the only thing that uses the battery power in the damn thing, but it makes them tangible so that you could shoot them.
Yeah, and it's like breaking a shield.
Yeah, they're very fucking annoying. But yeah.
God damn it. Cool. I told them to get off my lawn.
Well, I think we'll probably wrap it up there. We're going to cut this one a little shorter than usual because we want to see if YouTube will stop fucking us around a little bit.
Yeah.
But we'll also talk about that next week.
Yeah. Next week we're going to do a year-end wrap-up and what we're looking forward to in 2024, not 2014. and It's a couple of changes to the channel, just minor changes that we're going to try out next year and see how they go.
Yep. I quit. No, I don't.
No.
Quit.
No, it's me. I'm the one that quits every week.
Yeah, we're all joining OnlyFans, so YouTube's dead. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks so much, everybody.
On behalf of all of us here, we'd like to wish you and yours a happy holidays.
Merry Christmas, if that's what you're
into. And just be safe, enjoy it, spend time with friends, family. If you're going to be eating your brains out or drinking your brains out, hey, have fun.
Yeah. If you're by yourself, you want to have a chat with people, drop into the Discord. We'll be around.
Definitely jump on the Discord, and there's a chance that I'll go live on Christmas. Although I'm going to be watching AJ's live stream on Christmas, so I may or may not end up getting on.
Just make it super meta, where it's you watching AJ do the watch party.
Sounds perfect.
But let us know what your favorite games and least favorite games and any of these categories that you found interesting. Just let us know what your year was like in gaming.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We love you all. See you next week.